Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue and I am back for another Love Goals review, y'all. All right, so y'all know last week the first episode was all about Althea and Benzino, and it was quite draining, to be honest. Okay, this episode starts off with Althea and Benzino because they're still fighting, and when everyone's talking to Althea, she has a revelation of sorts where she realizes that she has constantly been in relationships with powerful men who then exert their power over her. But that's what she always ends up getting in relationships with. It's obvious Althea has issues all on her own that she needs to work through separate from Benzino, because only a damaged person, and I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with saying people are damaged. People are damaged. She's damaged by whatever has happened to her in her past, but the way she talks to Benzino, the way she incites all of that rage, like it's too much. It's incredibly too much. It's immature. She's too old for that shit. Like all of that button pressing stuff. Like, yes, he does the same things to her, but ultimately as a woman, to see her go with him the way she does, she starts it a lot of the time. Like, she really does start it, all because you don't want to be perceived as a gold digger. But I mean, who cares? Like, why does that even matter at this point? No, I don't want a broke nigga. Like, period. Why can't you just say that, own it, and let it be what it is, instead of feeling the need to fight it and it create this issue in your relationship with Benzino? Like, it's just too much to me. So I feel like Althea really needs to get this therapy for herself, and not just for their relationship, but for her as a woman. Get it together, Althea. You're doing a lot. When they go into group, she doesn't want to sit next to him. So Sunday has to make her get up from sitting next to her and her man to go and sit next to him, because that's the person that you're trying to work on this situation with. Like, stop. And we finally get to talk about other people's issues, mainly Dwayne and Teresa. Y'all, their situation is like really a lot to me. Like, we really found out how bad it is, because at first it's like, okay, yeah, it's obnoxious for him to always have his friends in their house around 14 hours out the day, 7 days a week, her always having to do for everybody. But when you really take into consideration that he feels like she's supposed to be this 1950s housewife, like, you know, he looks at his grandmother and his aunts, the people who are constantly doing for him in his life, and he translates that to his relationship with her, which is unfair. She is not your mother. She is not your aunt. She is not a caretaker for you and all of your friends. She is your wife, and she should be taken care of and worried about. And it's just obnoxious to me that I feel like he puts the needs of everybody before her. And then he looks at her like she's superwoman, and she's supposed to be able to deal with all of these people constantly needing, wanting, and him requiring this of her. This is a part of what he wants from her, for her to be superwoman. And she keeps telling him, I'm not your superwoman, okay? Oh no, I'm not the kind of girl that you can let down and think that everything's okay. Boy, I am only human. I can't remember how the rest of the song goes. But yeah, okay? Karen White, ain't nobody your superwoman. Then we get to Breon and Sunday's issues. Y'all know, Sunday is like a lot of women, where they get in relationships with these men who are honest with them about the fact that, hey, I'm a player. I'm out here, okay? This is community D, okay? If you want to get down with this, you got to recognize that. Okay, fine. That's a part of being in a relationship with Breon, is dealing with all of the other women that he also deals with. She was okay with that at first. And I thought it was like Sunday's issue. Like, Sunday, why are you now all of a sudden changing the dynamics of the relationship when this is what you signed up for? But really, he would do things like meet her mother and her family without her permission, you know, where he was supposed to be outside in a car, she's running inside, and then he comes inside and introduces himself, and now you have gone against the boundaries of y'all's relationship without discussing it with her. But then when she expects to be the only one because of these steps that you have taken without consulting her, you don't want to be that, and you're looking at her like, well, you know that I'm out here with all of these other chicks. Well, it's like, well, then don't try to be a man and a boyfriend to me. Be what you are. Be a lover and stay in your lane, but don't come and try to be a part of my life if you don't really want to be a part of my life. And y'all, then we get to spin. Y'all, Dee, I'm really gonna need for you to get over it, okay? That's a part of the problem right now. I understand that Salt and Pepper are aggravating as hell. Trust me, I can see it. Pepper's crazy and Salt is self-righteous. So I get it, okay? But Dee, the fact that you are still traumatized by that situation, it's been so many years. And the fact that you still hold on to it just shows how much you internalize and how much you need to express it and get over it. Like, I'm just saying, because her issues with Salt and Pepper bleed into her relationship with her man, and you're not even in the group anymore. So why is that still happening? I feel like Dee loves holding on to her victimhood. I think that's another thing. She's somebody that likes to be a victim. Not to say that she is not valid in her feelings about how she was treated in the group, but ultimately I still feel like there's something about that that she clings to. When they get to Althea, she is trying to express what she feels and what it has been like for her in this relationship with Benzino. And Spirit asked for Althea to express that part of herself that is tired, but she keeps trying to control it. Like, she's always trying to control how the pain comes out. That's why she's always doing the smirking and the playing and doing things that antagonize Benzino instead of saying, I am hurt, I'm upset. You know, you hurt me when you said this. It instantly goes to, oh, let me tit for tat you. And then I'm going to cry about it after I've already, you know, pissed you off to the point where you no longer care that I'm sad. A lot of people do that. They go straight into passive aggressive or anger, or they go straight into the aggressive emotion without actually having the sadness that they're feeling be a part of the emotion. Because if a person sees that you're sad, then they have to respond to that accordingly. But when you come at them with the rah-rah, then they're gonna respond back with the rah-rah. Benzino is tired of being a bad guy. He is tired of the conversation constantly being about what he's done to her. She talks about how, you know, he's had her put in jail or he's had her locked up all of these different times, and it's like, well, keep your hands to yourself. He feels like she's always coming after him, always trying to fight him, always putting her hands on him. So what is he supposed to do? And I'm like, I'm in agreement with that, Althea. You are immature in the way you handle him. And if the police get called on you because you can't keep your hands to yourself, like, what we supposed to feel about that? We supposed to feel sad for you? You put yourself in that situation. I agree with Benzino. At this point, y'all, they don't stop. They just keep going. They keep going. They keep talking. He keeps talking. She's, you know, rolling her eyes and shaking her leg and smirking and all of this shit. And Spirit gets right into Benzino's face. And she gets him to listen to the fact that you're saying she provokes you, but you're provoking her. Y'all are doing the same thing to one another, and you're sitting here trying to make everybody else think that the other person is the problem. Both of y'all are the problem. Both of y'all are doing the most. Both of y'all are provoking each other. Spirit asked for them to give 3 good things about one another. Benzino, easy peasy. She's beautiful. That's the first thing he says. And you know what she says? Of course, that's what he says. That's what he starts off with. Girl, calm down. Your beauty ain't why this man is still like fooling with you. Please stop, okay? Your beauty ain't the thing that keeps this man fooling with you. So please stop. Calm the hell down. She can't even receive the positive because, you know, she feels like it's wrapped in something else. Shut up and let the man say what he gotta say. He says that she's a good real estate agent and she's loyal. So she's beautiful, she's a good real estate agent, and she's loyal. Now she's crying because she's so happy that he said that. Girl, okay? And then when it's time to talk about him, she says he's good-hearted and he's a good dad and they need to show up for each other, you know, all of this. But she has a hard time getting out her 3 things before she starts to talk about the negatives. And it's like, bring it back. Give me 3 good things, Althea. 3 good things, okay? When she finally did that, it's like, so is he a good dad or is he not? Because you sit there and you tell everybody that he does nothing for your son and you the only one that take care of y'all kid, and now you're going to sit up here and say he's a good dad. Stop lying on that man. Stop that. Teresa and Dwayne talk, and they kind of get into an argument about it because he doesn't understand that he needs to tell his friends to take their ass home sometimes. They need to have their own lives. They need to have their own women. And Dwayne and Teresa need to stop being such a resource for them. Like, goddamn, we need to be a family and a couple on our own sometimes. He says his music lifestyle requires a certain vibe. So there's always people around, there's girls around and all of this. And I'm just like, okay, Dwayne, okay. So Teresa and Bo talk alone, and they talk about how she's always doing everything for him and his friends. And he says that it ain't that hard. It ain't that hard if you really want to do it. Like, you know, just do it. My grandmother, they did this, they did that. It ain't that hard. You know, you my superwoman. You know, that's what I expect from you. And she's like, okay, baby. And, you know, I got you. But then in the confessional, she's like, I might have to withdraw my efforts so he can see what it's like when I'm not doing all of this stuff for him and his friends. Because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And it never ends. It doesn't matter that she's tired. It doesn't matter that she needs a break. His friends need for her to get up and fix food for everybody. So that's what she has to do. And I'm just like, girl, you crazy as hell. You are crazy as hell. I would have went upstairs and locked my door and been like, I'm not going to come back out until they're gone. Figure it out. So they talk to Spirit privately. And, you know, he talks about, you know, his upbringing and how he's used to women taking care of him and how he expects that from her. He's disregarding her needs because of his friends. He takes her for granted. You know, she'll always be there. She ain't going nowhere. And Spirit is like, Teresa, tell him. And Teresa says, if things don't change, then she can just be alone, okay? Because taking care of herself and 2 kids is not as much as taking care of herself, 2 kids, him, and his 5 friends. Spirit makes him understand that he doesn't have a right to tell her how she should feel about all the stress he puts on her. That's how she feels, and he needs to accept that. You can't tell her she can't feel that way. A lot of people have a hard time with that. They don't realize that when somebody is telling you about how they feel, it's not an attack. It's just how they feel. And you cannot then, you know, tell them they don't have a right to feel that way, because that's not how feelings work. Teresa and Benzino have a moment where they get to talk to one another, and she tells him how dope he is, and he just wants Althea to give him a break. I really think this entire time, even though Benzino is a part of the problem, I really do think Benzino loves Althea. I really, really do. I don't know why, but I feel like he does, and he just wants that love back. And I don't think she knows how to show it because of her own issues. And I think that he might be a little needy as well, which can be exhausting for her. Benzino talks to Spirit on his own, and they talk about his anger and his rage issues. And he cries about feeling as if he had to buy love, you know, from women, just from people in his life. And it makes me wonder what Benzino's relationship with his mother was like. Because I know his mother passed away like a few years ago while he was still on Love and Hip Hop. Remember, he got shot coming from her funeral, or going to the funeral, whatever. Either way, it makes me wonder what Benzino's childhood was like. Because something makes me feel like he didn't get enough hugs. For real. He doesn't even think he knows what love is. And that's a scary thing, for you to be that old and not know what love is. Spirit says that Benzino carries around a lot of sadness with him. And no matter how much love somebody will give him, he's not making room for that love because he's still so filled with the sadness. Always thinking about, you know, somebody's ulterior motives, because he's never really experienced like pure love. Everything has always been dependent on something else. What he can do for them, what he can provide, what his lifestyle is like. That's not real love. Spirit tells him in his arguments with Althea, he needs to stop trying to defend himself and just start listening to her. Stop trying to defend all the time and just accept what it is. Because while they're defending, they're not listening. And that's exhausting to watch them go through that. They both need to handle each other the same way. Say when something is hurtful instead of going straight into anger. That way you don't give the other person a chance to feel validated in how they came at you. Because if you come at them back with anger, they're like, oh, you coming at me with anger, so I have a right to feel that way. But if you come at them with, damn, that's hurtful, they have to then respond to that. And people with sympathy or love for you in any capacity don't want to see you hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, even Althea was saying when he was crying, she did want to go over there to him, but her own anger kept her from doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's very important for them to change how they communicate with one another, because it's very toxic. It's very, very toxic. And Teresa and Dwayne, child, I don't know how y'all gonna fix that, because he just comes off like he's not gonna change. He's not gonna change. He hasn't changed from football to rapping. And, you know, their lifestyle is still in general not about their family. That's the issue. He needs to fix that. For real. But yeah, y'all, that was Love Goals. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Love y'all so much. See y'all in the next one.